Some say fears of the coronavirus are taking a toll on businesses in Philadelphia's Chinatown, a place typically bustling with crowded restaurants.
And Yuki, good evening. You said it is Friday night here in Chinatown. By no means is it empty, but it is pretty quiet right now. On other weekends, it could be much more busy. And some businesses say they believe it's fears over the coronavirus which is causing this.
Chinatown has been here in Philadelphia 150 years. Chinatown is a gateway for new immigrants. Chinatown is a commercial quarter with over 300 businesses. We are a huge employment hub for immigrants who have limited English capacity. It's a cultural home. It's a place I can come to celebrate the Chinese calendar events. And I think it gives Asian Americans a lot of confidence to follow their passion and feel like they're a part of Philadelphia. Unbelievable economic devastation occurred in Chinatown due to the pandemic. 95% of the businesses in Chinatown are open at this point. Some in a limited capacity, 5% are not open. It's yet to be determined if they're going to come back. The small businesses are not corporations, right? They're really mom and pop shops. And it's almost like their job or their livelihood. And they're no different than anyone who was laid off or unemployed. The income stream that they were getting just suddenly stopped.
係做全部係唐人嘅旗袍啦、結婚嘅禮服同埋唐裝衫、男女唐裝、男裝嘅結婚同埋dress 啊、旗袍同埋褲、衫，仲有 regular 嘅恤。T-shirt 同埋褸。My name is Lisa Lai. I been open this shop for Tia Boutique. Yeah, open 20 years. In the March 15, close, and then the July 4, I open. But the business is very down. Last year, the Chinese New Year, a lot of people come in. Yesterday, nobody come in. I don't know why. It's 我都唔知道點樣，因為嗰啲租咧都好高，我唔知道未來會唔會好翻啲咧 I don't know.
The Asian Arts Initiative is a community-based arts organization, and our mission is quite simply to build community through the power of art. More importantly for us as a culturally specific organization, we seek to define art and community by those who are touched by the Asian diaspora.
As COVID-19 spreads across the United States, so does an alarming rise in hate crimes within Asian American communities.
Racial equity has always been really important for us. We were founded out of racial tension as a conversation around how to come up with some arts-based solutions. It is so hard for Asian Americans to navigate what our role is in an American discourse around systemic racism, because depending on which way you're looking at it, we are white adjacent, we're black adjacent, we're brown adjacent, we are brown. I mean, it is everything. Our community is as unique and unified as you want it to be. So those are the hardest questions, I think, for us to answer. What is our responsibility? How do we own this privilege? And also advocate for more dignity and visibility without, taking too much space or enough space or whatever that means. So that's been the last year. That's a lot, but yeah. Unity at the Initiative is a multivalent exhibition, public program, experience that we designed to focus on the work and practice of Jeffrey Chung, who is a queer artist, painter, illustrator, and a professional skateboarder who's done a lot for queer visibility, trans visibility, actually in both art and skateboarding, among other things. Initially, the show was focused predominantly on Jeffrey's work. It was really going to celebrate his craft. Because he wasn't able to spend as much time here as we'd hoped, and because we were already sort of reflecting on what our true mission is, to serve racial equity and to think about artist activism, the emphasis here really should be on Philadelphia artists. So that was part one, just to make sure that we were engaging artists while we could pay them in a time when we knew that most of them were probably suffering economic injury because of the pandemic. The second part of it was, let's raise the pay rubric. I'm really grateful that thinking about it through the lens of how do we make sure artists are fed has low-key kind of changed the way I'm thinking about the mission even of our organization, to become sort of this resource. The arts are going to happen no matter what. Art happens no matter what. I could say stop doing art and I won't change anything. People will continue to sing and dance and paint and make beautiful food, and the reason it needs to be supported is so that we do it with dignity. Practically speaking, it is so hard to rebuild. I mean, losing a footprint is really hard to regain. When I think of businesses that have been shuttered or demolished, I'm amazed at how quickly I forget that it was there. It's amazing. Like when it becomes a bank or a condo, I'm like, what was it? I can't recall. It's really easy to forget these things. We already barely have a narrative in American history as Asian Americans, barely. If we don't have physical presence and markers and an actual presence, it's like we will not have been here. That's why it's so important to maintain a Chinatown in any city, I think.